Welcome to Deep Sleep Studios, a place to calmly explore the most astonishing parts of our universe while helping you drift off to sleep. This is a place for gentle attention and unhurried curiosity, and also for letting go. Tonight, we'll wander through the ancient rainforests of our world, moving quietly beneath canopies so dense they create their own weather, meeting the gentle creatures who make their homes among roots and rivers, branches and blossoms, in places where life has flourished for millions of years in patient, beautiful abundance. If you're enjoying Deep Sleep Studios, you can like the video and subscribe for more gentle journeys like this. And if you'd like, leave a comment with where you're listening from and what time it is. It's comforting to know who else is out there quietly. Let us begin where all rainforest journeys truly start. Not at the edge of the trees, but somewhere far above, where moisture gathers in the warm breath of distant oceans. Clouds form over tropical waters, heavy with the memory of waves. They drift on gentle currents, carrying their precious cargo toward land. When these clouds meet the rising slopes of forested mountains, they release their burden. Rain falls in silver curtains, feeding the greatest concentrations of life on Earth. A single drop of rain might travel for hours through the canopy before reaching the forest floor. It slides down leaves the size of dinner plates, pools in the cups of bromeliads, traces the furrowed bark of ancient trees. This is how the rainforest breathes. Water rises, water falls, and everything in between pulses with quiet vitality. We'll begin our journey in the Amazon basin, the largest tropical rainforest on Earth. It sprawls across 9 countries, covering an area larger than the entirety of Western Europe. From above, it appears as an unbroken sea of green, stretching to every horizon. But within that green lies infinite variety, countless niches and neighborhoods, each with its own character. The Amazon River itself is the heart of this forest. It carries more water than any other river on Earth, 1/5 of all the fresh water that flows to the sea. At its widest points during the rainy season, you cannot see from one bank to the other. The far shore simply disappears into haze and distance. We descend now through layers of leaves, through the emergent canopy where the tallest trees reach for sunlight. Some of these giants stand 200 feet tall, their crowns spreading like green umbrellas above the forest. A harpy eagle perches on a high branch, surveying her domain. She is one of the largest eagles in the world, with talons the size of a grizzly bear's claws. But there is nothing frantic in her watching. She sits with the patience of stone, her grey and white plumage ruffling slightly in the breeze that moves through the treetops. Her eyes are sharp enough to spot a monkey moving through branches half a mile away. Yet she is in no hurry. She knows the forest will provide. Below the emergent layer, we enter the main canopy, a dense ceiling of interlocking branches and leaves. Here, most of the forest's life unfolds. The light filters through in shifting patterns, dappled and green gold. It creates a world of perpetual twilight, cool and hushed. A 3-toed sloth hangs from a cecropia branch, moving so slowly she seems like part of the tree itself. Her fur is tinged with green from the algae that grows there. This algae is not a burden, but a partnership. It provides camouflage, helping the sloth blend into the leaves. In return, the sloth's fur provides a home. Tiny moths live in her coat as well, completing their entire life cycle among the coarse hairs. When the sloth descends to the forest floor once a week, the moths lay their eggs in her dung. This weekly journey is the most dangerous moment in a sloth's life. On the ground, she is vulnerable, moving with painful slowness across the leaf litter. But she makes this trip faithfully, fertilizing the base of her favorite trees. The trees respond by growing more nutritious leaves, which the sloth will eat. Everything in the rainforest is connected in ways we are only beginning to understand. Each creature's life is woven into the lives of countless others. The sloth reaches her tree and begins the long climb back to safety. Her curved claws hook into the bark, and she pulls herself upward with surprising strength. By the time she reaches her resting branch, the sun has moved across the sky. But time moves differently for sloths. They live in a slower world. A sloth's metabolism is so low that it can take a month to digest a single meal. Their body temperature fluctuates with the air around them, rising and falling with the forest's rhythm. They sleep 15 to 20 hours a day, cradled in the crooks of branches. When they dream, we can only imagine what slow visions move through their minds. Let us move deeper into the canopy now, where howler monkeys are beginning their evening chorus. Their calls are among the loudest of any land animal. The sound begins as a low rumble, building in volume until it echoes across the forest. It can be heard from 3 miles away, a declaration of territory and presence. But despite the volume, there is something meditative about the howler's call. It rises and falls in waves, like the breathing of the forest itself. A family group sits together on a broad branch, their dark fur catching the last rays of sunlight. The dominant male leads the chorus, his throat swelling with each call. The others join in, creating harmonies that vibrate through the leaves. Then, as suddenly as it began, the calling stops. Silence returns to the canopy. The howlers settle in for the night, grooming each other with gentle fingers. A mother cradles her infant against her chest, the baby's tiny hands gripping her fur. These social bonds are essential to howler monkey life. They spend their days together, moving through the treetops in search of leaves and fruit. Their diet is mostly leaves, which provide little energy. This is why they move slowly and rest often, conserving their strength. A young howler practices climbing, swinging from branch to branch with growing confidence. His prehensile tail acts as a fifth limb, gripping and balancing. He reaches too far and nearly falls, but his tail catches a branch at the last moment. He hangs there for a heartbeat, then pulls himself up, unharmed. The adults watch with calm attention. They have all learned these lessons themselves, in their own time. As darkness gathers in the canopy, we turn our attention to creatures of the night. The rainforest does not sleep. It simply changes shifts. A kinkajou emerges from a tree hollow, blinking her enormous eyes. She is sometimes called a honey bear, though she's actually related to raccoons. Her golden brown fur is soft as velvet, and her face has an expression of perpetual, gentle surprise. She stretches her long body along the branch. Kinkajous are among the most acrobatic of rainforest mammals. They can rotate their hind feet backward, allowing them to run easily in either direction along branches. Their prehensile tails are so strong they can hang by them alone, freeing their hands to reach for fruit. They move through the darkness with fluid grace. This kinkajou has found a flowering balsa tree, its pale blossoms open to the night. She pushes her long tongue deep into the flowers, drinking the nectar within. As she feeds, pollen dusts her face and fur. When she visits the next tree, she will carry this pollen with her, helping the forest reproduce. Many rainforest trees depend on night-flying animals for pollination. Bats, moths, and kinkajous all play their part in this quiet exchange. The kinkajou moves on, her silhouette briefly visible against the stars before she disappears into the leaves. The night is hers to explore. Below the canopy, in the understory, other eyes are opening. A red-eyed tree frog sits motionless on a heliconia leaf, waiting for the darkness to deepen. Her eyes are startling, crimson circles with vertical black pupils. But during the day, she keeps them closed, revealing only her green eyelids. This is a form of camouflage called startle coloration. If a predator approaches, she will flash open her eyes suddenly, hopefully startling the attacker long enough to escape. Her sticky toe pads grip the leaf with remarkable strength. She can climb smooth glass, hang upside down, leap distances 20 times her body length. But for now, she simply sits, breathing slowly, feeling the night air cool against her permeable skin. Tree frogs absorb water through their skin rather than drinking. The humidity of the rainforest is essential to their survival. In this moist world, they thrive, their calls filling the night with music. As if on cue, the frog begins to sing. It is a series of clicks and chirps, a love song broadcast into the darkness. Other males answer from nearby leaves. The forest comes alive with their chorus, a symphony of small voices. A female moves toward the most persistent singer, drawn by the quality of his call. She is larger than the males, her belly swollen with eggs. They will mate on a leaf overhanging water, and she will lay her eggs in a jelly-like mass. When the tadpoles hatch, they will drop into the pool below. This is the cycle of life in the rainforest, repeated in countless variations. Birth, growth, reproduction, death, and renewal. We move now to the forest floor, that dim realm where only 2% of sunlight ever reaches. It is a world of shadows and decomposition. The leaf litter is thick here, layers upon layers of fallen leaves, twigs, and branches. It feels soft underfoot, like walking on a mattress. This litter is the forest's recycling system. Everything that falls is broken down and returned to the soil, feeding the roots of living trees. A column of leafcutter ants marches across the forest floor, each worker carrying a piece of leaf many times her own size. They look like a parade of tiny green sails. These ants do not eat the leaves themselves. Instead, they carry them deep underground to their vast fungus gardens. A single leafcutter colony can contain 8 million individuals, living in a nest that extends 40 feet below the surface. The chambers are climate-controlled, maintained at perfect temperature and humidity. The ants chew the leaves into pulp and feed them to their fungus, which grows in spongy masses. Then they eat the fungus, completing a cycle of cultivation that predates human agriculture by millions of years. A worker ant pauses, adjusting her grip on a particularly large leaf fragment. Her mandibles are powerful enough to cut through leather, yet she handles her cargo with delicate precision. She rejoins the column, following a chemical trail laid down by her sisters. The line stretches for hundreds of feet, a highway of industry crossing the forest floor. Nearby, a different kind of activity unfolds. A blue morpho butterfly drifts through a shaft of sunlight, her wings flashing electric blue. That brilliant colour comes not from pigment, but from the microscopic structure of her wing scales. They reflect light in ways that create iridescence. When her wings close, she nearly disappears. The undersides are brown with eye spots, camouflaging her against the bark and leaves. She lands on a rotting mango, extending her long proboscis to drink the fermenting juices. Morphos prefer fallen fruit to flowers, finding sweetness in decay. Her flight is lazy and unpredictable, rising and falling on invisible currents. She seems to drift rather than fly, a fragment of sky come down to earth. A second morpho joins her, and for a moment they spiral together, blue flashes in the green twilight. Then they part, continuing their separate wanderings. The forest floor holds other treasures, less visible but equally remarkable. A glass frog sits on a low leaf, her body so transparent you can see her heart beating. Her internal organs are visible through her skin, a window into the workings of life itself. The tiny red heart pulses steadily, pumping green blood through delicate vessels. Glass frogs are nocturnal, spending their days pressed against leaves where their transparency makes them nearly invisible. They are masters of hiding in plain sight. This one guards a clutch of eggs, watching over them until they hatch. Male glass frogs are devoted fathers, protecting their offspring from predators and parasites. He will stay with the eggs for weeks, keeping them moist, fighting off wasps that would lay their own eggs inside. His vigilance gives his children their best chance at life. Let us follow a small stream now, one of countless waterways that thread through the rainforest. The water runs clear over a bed of sand and pebbles. Fallen leaves drift on the surface, carried by the gentle current. They will travel for miles before finally sinking and decomposing. A giant otter surfaces in a quiet pool, her sleek head breaking the water without a sound. She is the largest of the world's 13 otter species. Her family waits nearby, a group of 6 that hunts and plays together. Giant otters are among the most social of all otters, living in close-knit family groups. They communicate with an elaborate vocabulary of sounds, more than 20 distinct calls. Chirps, screams, whistles and hums convey everything from alarm to affection. This mother has caught a fish, a fat piranha that she holds in her webbed paws. She floats on her back, eating methodically, starting at the head. Her family watches, waiting their turn. There is no competition, no aggression. They share their catches peacefully, the bonds between them stronger than hunger. When she finishes, she dives again, her powerful tail propelling her through the water. She can hold her breath for 8 minutes, hunting in the murky depths. The others follow, and soon the pool is empty, only ripples marking where they swam. They will travel miles today, following the stream through their territory. Giant otters were once hunted nearly to extinction for their velvety fur. Now, protected, they are slowly recovering, reclaiming their rivers. The stream widens as it joins others, becoming a river that flows toward the Amazon itself. The water darkens, stained by tannins from decomposing leaves. These blackwater rivers are like tea, acidic and nutrient-poor. Yet life thrives here, adapted to these unusual conditions. A pink river dolphin surfaces, exhaling with a soft puff. She is one of the most unusual dolphins on Earth, living thousands of miles from any ocean. Her color comes from blood vessels close to the surface of her skin. When she is excited or warm, she blushes an even deeper pink. Unlike ocean dolphins, river dolphins have flexible necks that allow them to turn their heads. This helps them navigate the flooded forests where they hunt. During the wet season, the rivers overflow their banks, flooding the forest for miles. The dolphins swim among the trees, catching fish that shelter among the roots. This dolphin has a calf swimming beside her, a smaller, grayer version of herself. The calf will stay with her mother for several years, learning the ways of the river. They surface together, breathing in synchrony, then dive again into the dark water. Their echolocation clicks bounce off submerged trees and swimming prey. The flooded forest is a strange and beautiful world. Trees stand in water, their trunks reflected in the still surface. Fish swim where birds once flew. A school of silver dollars drifts through the underwater forest, their round bodies catching the filtered light. They feed on fallen fruits and seeds. Many rainforest trees depend on fish to spread their seeds. The fish eat the fruit, swim to new locations, and deposit the seeds in their waste. This relationship has evolved over millions of years, tree and fish shaping each other's destiny. The forest and the river are one. A caiman floats motionless near the bank, only his eyes and nostrils above the water. He is a patient hunter, waiting for prey to come within reach. Black caimans are the largest predators in the Amazon, growing up to 15 feet long, yet they spend most of their time in perfect stillness. This one has been floating in the same spot for hours, conserving energy, waiting. His metabolism is slow, and he may not need to eat for weeks. A fish swims too close, and the caiman strikes with explosive speed. The water erupts, then settles. The caiman returns to his stillness, his meal secured. The violence is brief and complete. The forest accepts it without judgment. Death feeds life, and life continues. As the sun sets over the flooded forest, the sky turns orange and pink, reflected in the still water. The world becomes a mirror, doubling its beauty. Parrots fly overhead in pairs, heading to their roosts. Macaws, with their long tails streaming behind them, paint the sky with red and blue. They call to each other as they fly, maintaining contact in the fading light. These birds mate for life, spending their days side by side. A pair of scarlet macaws lands in a tall tree, settling close together on a branch. They preen each other's feathers, a ritual that reinforces their bond. Their colours seem impossibly bright against the green leaves, red, yellow, blue, each feather a work of art. Macaws have been flying these forests for millions of years. They remember routes to fruiting trees, clay licks, and nesting sites, passing this knowledge to their young. The clay licks are gathering places where hundreds of parrots come to eat mineral-rich soil. The clay helps neutralize toxins in the seeds and unripe fruits they eat. At dawn, the licks come alive with color and sound. Macaws, parakeets, and amazons crowd the exposed banks, squabbling for the best spots. But now, in the evening quiet, the macaws simply rest. They tuck their heads beneath their wings and sleep, secure in each other's presence. Let us travel now to another rainforest, across the Atlantic Ocean to the Congo Basin of Central Africa. This is the second largest tropical forest on Earth. Here, the rhythms are different, the creatures unique, yet the feeling is the same. The same green twilight, the same humid air, the same sense of ancient abundance. We find ourselves near a forest clearing, a bai, where elephants have come to drink and socialize. These are forest elephants, smaller and darker than their savanna cousins. Their tusks point downward, adapted for navigating dense vegetation. Their ears are rounder, their bodies more compact. A family group wades into the shallow water, drinking deeply after a long journey through the forest. The matriarch leads, her experience guiding the group to safety. Calves splash and play, enjoying the rare open space. One rolls in the mud, coating herself in a protective layer that will shield her from insects and sun. Forest elephants are essential to their ecosystem. As they walk, they create paths through the dense undergrowth. As they eat, they spread seeds across vast distances. A single elephant can carry seeds from hundreds of different tree species in her gut. Some seeds will not germinate unless they pass through an elephant's digestive system. Without elephants, the forest would change. Trees would fail to spread. Clearings would close. The entire structure of the ecosystem would shift. These gentle giants move through the world with surprising quietness. Despite their size, they can walk through the forest almost silently. Their feet are cushioned with fatty tissue that absorbs sound. They communicate in rumbles so low that humans cannot hear them, messages that travel for miles through the earth. The matriarch raises her trunk, testing the air. She senses something, perhaps another group approaching, perhaps a distant storm. She leads her family out of the bai, back into the shelter of the trees. They disappear into the green shadows, leaving only footprints in the mud. Deeper in the Congo forest, we encounter one of our closest relatives. A family of western lowland gorillas rests in a small clearing, the silverback keeping watch. He is a magnificent animal, his broad back covered with the silver-grey hair that marks his maturity. He weighs over 400 pounds, yet his eyes are gentle. The females and young ones lounge nearby, grooming and playing. A juvenile practices chest beating, his small hands making soft, pattering sounds. Gorillas spend much of their day eating, working through huge quantities of leaves, stems, and fruit. Their large bellies house the bacteria needed to digest this fibrous diet. They are peaceful creatures despite their fearsome appearance. Conflicts are usually resolved with displays rather than violence. The silverback yawns, revealing impressive canine teeth. But this is not a threat, just a sign of relaxation. He is content, his family safe around him. A baby gorilla climbs on his back, using his broad shoulders as a playground. The silverback tolerates this with patient dignity, barely acknowledging the small weight. These moments of family life are precious and increasingly rare. Gorillas face many threats, from habitat loss to disease. Each family group is a treasure. As afternoon fades, the silverback rises and begins to build his nest. He bends branches and weaves leaves, creating a comfortable platform for the night. Each gorilla builds their own nest, a new one every evening. Even the youngest learn this skill, practicing with small bundles of leaves. The family settles in, the forest growing quiet around them. Insects begin their evening songs, a different chorus from the Amazon, but equally soothing. Let us move to the forest canopy now, where a different kind of primate makes its home. A group of red colobus monkeys leaps through the branches. Their russet fur stands out against the green leaves, a flash of warmth in the cool shadows. They are among the most acrobatic of African monkeys. Colobus monkeys have a reduced thumb, almost absent, which allows them to hook their hands over branches and swing with remarkable speed. They eat leaves almost exclusively, their complex stomachs breaking down the tough plant material. This diet means they need to eat constantly throughout the day. A mother carries her infant on her belly, the tiny face peeking out from her fur. Colobus babies are born white, gradually darkening as they grow. The group moves together, maintaining contact with soft calls. They have predators to watch for, eagles from above and leopards from below. But for now, the forest is peaceful. The monkeys settle in a fruiting tree, picking at the offerings with delicate fingers. Below them, on the forest floor, a pangolin emerges from her burrow as evening approaches. She is covered in scales made of keratin, the same material as human fingernails. Pangolins are the only mammals with this armor. When threatened, they curl into tight balls, their scales protecting them from most predators. This mother carries a baby on her tail, the small one clinging tightly as she walks. Pangolin mothers are devoted, carrying their young until they are nearly half grown. She moves toward a termite mound, her long claws perfect for breaking into the hard structure. Her tongue, longer than her body, probes the tunnels for insects. Pangolins have no teeth. They swallow their food whole, grinding it in their muscular stomachs with the help of small stones they ingest. She feeds methodically, her baby watching and learning. One day, this little one will hunt alone, but for now, she stays close to her mother's warmth. The pangolin is one of the most trafficked animals on Earth, hunted for her scales and meat. Yet she knows nothing of this. She simply lives, moment to moment, in the ancient forest. Let us travel now to Southeast Asia, to the rainforests of Borneo and Sumatra. These islands hold some of the oldest forests on Earth, refuges of incredible biodiversity. The trees here are different, many belonging to the dipterocarp family. They grow tall and straight, their canopies forming a dense ceiling high above. We find an orangutan building her nest in the fading light. She is a female, her face framed by the characteristic cheek pads that develop with age. Orangutans are the most solitary of the great apes. They spend most of their lives alone, moving through the forest in search of fruit. But this solitude is not loneliness. It is simply their way, adapted to a forest where food is scattered and unpredictable. She bends branches with her powerful arms, weaving them into a springy platform. She adds leaves for comfort, creating a mattress in the sky. Her nest is a work of engineering, strong enough to support her weight, soft enough for comfortable sleep. She builds a new one every night. A young orangutan watches from a nearby branch. This is her daughter, still learning the skills she will need to survive. Young orangutans stay with their mothers for 8 years or more, the longest childhood of any animal except humans. There is so much to learn. The mother shows her daughter which fruits are ripe, which leaves are safe to eat, how to use sticks to extract honey from bee nests. Orangutans are among the most intelligent of all animals. They use tools, solve problems, and remember the locations of hundreds of fruiting trees. They have been observed using leaves as gloves to handle spiny fruits, as umbrellas in the rain, as napkins to wipe their faces. The daughter tries to build her own nest, bending branches clumsily. Her mother watches without interfering. Learning takes time. As darkness falls, both orangutans settle into their nests. The forest sounds change, day creatures falling silent, night creatures beginning to stir. A Sunda colugo glides between trees, her membranes stretch between her limbs like a living kite. She is sometimes called a flying lemur, though she is neither lemur nor truly flying. Colugos are the most accomplished gliders among mammals, able to travel over 400 feet in a single glide. They lose very little altitude, sailing almost horizontally through the air. Her baby clings to her belly, carried along on these nightly journeys. The mother feeds on leaves and flowers, moving from tree to tree. In the understory, a tarsier opens her enormous eyes. These tiny primates have the largest eyes relative to body size of any mammal. Each eye is as large as her brain, adapted for hunting insects in near total darkness. She can rotate her head almost completely around, like an owl. The tarsier launches herself at a passing moth, catching it with her hands in mid-leap. She crunches the insect with sharp teeth, then looks for more. Her movements are quick and precise, but between hunts she sits perfectly still. She is a creature of patience and sudden action. A slow loris moves through the branches with deliberate care. Unlike the tarsier's explosive leaps, every movement of the loris is measured and silent. Slow lorises are the only venomous primates. They produce a toxin in glands on their arms, which they spread over their fur by licking. This venom can cause severe allergic reactions in humans, but in the forest, it serves as defense against predators. Few animals will bite a loris twice. The loris reaches a flowering vine and begins to feed on nectar. Her long tongue probes the blossoms, and pollen dusts her face. She moves on, carrying pollen to the next flower, playing her part in the forest's reproduction. Even this slow, solitary creature is connected to the greater whole. Let us descend now to the rivers of Borneo, where a different kind of life unfolds. The water here is dark with tannins, flowing slowly through the lowland forest. A proboscis monkey sits on a branch overhanging the river, his enormous nose hanging down like a fleshy pendulum. He is one of the strangest-looking primates on Earth. Only males have these large noses, which may amplify their calls or serve as signals to females. Whatever the purpose, they give the monkeys a comical appearance. But there is nothing comical about their swimming ability. Proboscis monkeys are excellent swimmers, using their partially webbed feet to cross rivers. They are the only primates known to swim underwater, diving to escape predators or reach new feeding areas. The forest and the river are both their home. A group of females and young ones rest nearby, their smaller noses giving them a more conventional appearance. They watch the male with apparent disinterest. The male begins to call, a honking sound that echoes across the water. He is asserting his dominance, reminding others of his presence. Other males answer from distant trees, a conversation of honks and bellows. The females continue to ignore them, grooming their young. As the sun sets, the proboscis monkeys move to sleeping trees, gathering in groups for safety. They prefer trees near the water, where they can escape quickly if needed. Crocodiles patrol these rivers, ancient predators that have changed little in millions of years. The monkeys are wise to be cautious, but the crocodiles are not hunting now. They float like logs, barely visible in the dark water, conserving energy for opportunities yet to come. A kingfisher dives from an overhanging branch, emerging with a small fish in her beak. She returns to her perch, batters the fish against the branch, and swallows it whole. Her plumage is electric blue and orange, impossibly bright in the fading light. She is a stork-billed kingfisher, one of the largest of her family. She will hunt until full darkness falls, then retire to her nest in a riverbank burrow. Her mate waits there, taking turns incubating their eggs. The river flows on, carrying leaves and seeds, connecting the forest to the sea. It has flowed this way for millions of years, shaping the land, supporting life. Let us travel now to the cloud forests of Central and South America, where the rainforest climbs into the mountains and meets the clouds. These forests are cooler and wetter than their lowland cousins. Mist hangs in the trees, and every surface drips with moisture. The trees are shorter here, gnarled by wind and weighted with epiphytes. Orchids, bromeliads, and ferns cover every branch, creating gardens in the sky. Mosses carpet the ground and climb the trunks, turning the forest into a world of soft green velvet. The air smells of earth and growing things. A resplendent quetzal perches in an avocado tree, his tail feathers streaming behind him like green ribbons. He is one of the most beautiful birds on earth. The ancient Maya considered the quetzal sacred, a symbol of freedom and wealth. They used the feathers in royal headdresses, but never killed the birds. This male's breast is crimson, his back iridescent green. His tail feathers are longer than his body, flowing with every movement. He plucks an avocado from the branch, swallowing it whole. Later, he will regurgitate the seed, planting a new tree far from the parent. Quetzals are essential to the cloud forest's reproduction. Many trees depend on them for seed dispersal, a partnership millions of years old. The female watches from a nearby branch, her colors more muted but still beautiful. They have a nest in a rotted tree trunk, taking turns incubating their eggs. When the chicks hatch, both parents will feed them insects and fruit. The young birds will fledge in about 3 weeks, ready to begin their own lives. The cloud forest is full of hummingbirds, tiny jewels that hover at flowers with wings beating 80 times per second. Their metabolism is the fastest of any bird. A violet saberwing visits a heliconia flower, her curved bill perfectly matched to the flower's shape. She drinks deeply, her tongue lapping nectar at 13 licks per second. To fuel their incredible metabolism, hummingbirds must eat constantly. They visit hundreds of flowers each day, consuming half their body weight in nectar. At night, they enter a state called torpor, slowing their metabolism to survive until morning. Their body temperature drops, their heart rate slows, and they hang motionless on their perches. As dawn breaks, they warm up slowly, vibrating their wing muscles to generate heat. Then, they resume their endless quest for nectar. A 3-wattled bellbird calls from a high branch, his voice carrying for miles through the misty forest. It is one of the loudest bird calls on Earth. The sound is metallic, almost mechanical, like a hammer striking an anvil. He calls to attract females, who will come from great distances to find him. His 3 wattles hang from his beak like black worms, swinging with each call. They serve no purpose except to impress potential mates. The bellbird is a fruit eater, spending most of his time quietly foraging. But during breeding season, he becomes a tireless vocalist, calling for hours each day. Below him, a coati family forages through the leaf litter, their long noses probing for insects and fallen fruit. They are related to raccoons with the same clever hands. Coatis live in groups called bands, usually females and young. Males are solitary, except during mating season, when they briefly join the bands. The young ones play, wrestling and chasing each other through the undergrowth. Their mother watches, alert for predators, but relaxed in the safety of the group. They find a rotting log full of beetle larvae, a protein-rich feast. The coatis tear into the soft wood, extracting the grubs with nimble fingers. A tyra watches from a distance, her dark fur blending into the shadows. She's a large weasel, agile and opportunistic, but she's not hunting the coatis. They are too large and too numerous. She's simply passing through, on her way to her own hunting grounds. The cloud forest is a place of mist and mystery. Visibility changes constantly as clouds roll through, revealing and concealing the landscape. A spectacled bear emerges from the fog, her cream-colored facial markings giving her a perpetually surprised expression. She is the only bear in South America. Spectacled bears are primarily vegetarian, feeding on bromeliads, palm hearts, and fruit. They are excellent climbers, spending much time in trees. This female is searching for a particular bromeliad that grows high in the canopy. She climbs with surprising agility, her curved claws gripping the bark. She finds her prize and settles on a broad branch to eat, pulling apart the tough leaves to reach the tender heart. The mist swirls around her, and she seems to float in clouds. Spectacled bears are solitary and shy, rarely seen by humans. They move through the forest like ghosts, leaving few traces of their passage. She finishes her meal and descends, disappearing into the fog. The branch where she sat is the only evidence she was ever there. Let us travel now to the rainforests of Madagascar, an island that separated from Africa millions of years ago and evolved in isolation. The animals here are found nowhere else on Earth. Evolution has taken strange and wonderful paths, creating creatures that seem like dreams. A ring-tailed lemur sunbathes on a rock, her arms spread wide to catch the morning warmth. Lemurs are primates, but they evolved separately from monkeys and apes. Her long tail is striped in black and white, a flag that helps her troop stay together in the forest. Ring-tailed lemurs are more terrestrial than most of their cousins. The troop wakes slowly, grooming and stretching. They will spend the day foraging for fruit, leaves, and flowers, moving through their territory in a loose group. A female carries twins on her back, the babies clinging tightly as she moves. Twins are common in ring-tailed lemurs, and the whole troop helps care for the young. They communicate with a variety of calls, from soft purrs to loud howls. Each sound has meaning, conveying information about food, danger, and social relationships. A male approaches a female, but she rebuffs him with a sharp bark. Female lemurs are dominant in their society, controlling access to food and mates. The troop moves on, following well-worn paths through the forest. They know every tree, every water source, every safe sleeping site. In the canopy above, a sifaka leaps between trees, her powerful legs propelling her up to 30 feet through the air. She lands gracefully, barely disturbing the leaves. Sifakas are named for their alarm call, a sharp shifak that echoes through the forest. They are among the most acrobatic of all lemurs. On the ground, they move by hopping sideways, their long legs making walking difficult. But in the trees, they are poetry in motion. This sifaka is a cockerel's sifaka, her fur white with chocolate-brown patches. She grooms her baby, who clings to her belly, watching the world with wide eyes. The baby will eventually move to her mother's back, then begin to explore on her own. But for now, she is content to be carried, safe and warm. A fossa prowls through the undergrowth, Madagascar's largest predator. She looks like a cross between a cat and a mongoose, sleek and muscular. Fossas are related to mongooses, but have evolved to fill the role of big cat on this island. They hunt lemurs, tenrecs, and birds, moving through trees and on the ground with equal ease. This one is not hunting now. She has eaten recently and is simply patrolling her territory, marking trees with scent glands. She pauses to drink from a small stream, her tongue lapping quickly. Then she continues on, disappearing into the shadows. The forest is full of smaller creatures too, less visible but equally fascinating. A leaf-tailed gecko clings to a tree trunk, perfectly camouflaged. Her body is flattened, her edges fringed with skin that breaks up her outline. She looks exactly like a piece of bark, complete with lichen patterns. Leaf-tailed geckos are masters of disguise. They can even change colour slightly to better match their surroundings. She spends the day motionless, avoiding predators through perfect stillness. At night, she will hunt insects, her large eyes gathering the faint light. A panther chameleon moves slowly along a branch, his eyes rotating independently, scanning for prey. His colours shift from green to blue to orange, responding to his mood and environment. He spots a cricket and begins his approach, moving with glacial slowness. His feet grip the branch, and his tail coils for balance. Suddenly, his tongue shoots out, faster than the eye can follow. The cricket is stuck to the sticky tip and drawn into his mouth in a fraction of a second. The chameleon chews slowly, his eyes already searching for the next meal. He is in no hurry. The forest provides. Let us travel now to the rainforests of Australia, the ancient continent that has been isolated longer than any other. Here, the animals are stranger still. A cassowary walks through the forest, her blue neck and red wattles bright against the green leaves. She is one of the world's largest birds, standing nearly 6 feet tall. Cassowaries are flightless, their wings reduced to small quills, but they can run at 30 miles per hour and jump nearly 5 feet in the air. Their feet are armed with dagger-like claws, capable of inflicting serious injury. But cassowaries are shy, preferring to flee rather than fight. This female has been eating fruit all morning, swallowing whole fruits the size of apples. She will spread the seeds across the forest in her droppings. Many rainforest trees in Australia depend entirely on cassowaries for seed dispersal. Without these birds, the forest would slowly change, losing species that cannot spread on their own. She moves on, her booming call echoing through the trees. It is a low, resonant sound, more felt than heard. In the canopy, a tree kangaroo rests on a broad branch, her powerful tail hanging down for balance. Tree kangaroos are the only kangaroos that live in trees. They evolved from ground-dwelling ancestors, gradually adapting to life in the canopy. Their feet have become more flexible, their claws curved for gripping bark. This Lumholtz's tree kangaroo has a baby in her pouch, a tiny joey that will stay there for months. She feeds on leaves, reaching out to pull branches toward her mouth. Tree kangaroos are excellent climbers but clumsy on the ground. They descend trees tail first, hopping awkwardly when they reach the forest floor. She leaps to another branch, a distance of 20 feet, landing with casual grace. Her joey barely stirs, safe in the warm pouch. A green tree python coils on a branch below, her emerald scales bright against the bark. She is waiting for prey, a hunting strategy that requires infinite patience. Green tree pythons are born yellow or red, gradually changing to green as they mature. This color change takes about 2 years to complete. She has been coiled in the same position for days, waiting for a bird or small mammal to pass within striking distance. Her metabolism is so slow she needs to eat only every few weeks. A small bird lands nearby, unaware of the danger. The python remains motionless, waiting for the perfect moment. But the bird flies away, and the python continues to wait. There is no frustration, no impatience. She simply is. The Australian rainforest is full of birds, their calls creating a symphony of sound. A riflebird displays for a female, his wings spread wide, his throat feathers iridescent blue. He dances on his branch, bobbing and swaying, his wings forming a black cape around his body. The female watches, evaluating his performance. Birds of paradise, of which riflebirds are a type, have evolved some of the most elaborate courtship displays in the animal kingdom. The males compete not with strength, but with beauty. This male's display continues for several minutes, his movements precise and practiced. Finally, the female flies away, unimpressed. He will try again tomorrow. A platypus swims in a forest stream, her duck-like bill sweeping through the water. She is one of only 5 species of mammals that lay eggs. The platypus is so strange that when European scientists first saw a specimen, they thought it was a hoax, different animals sewn together. But she is real, a living link to the ancient past, when mammals were just beginning to diverge from their reptilian ancestors. She hunts with her bill, which is covered in electroreceptors that detect the electrical signals of prey. In the murky water, she finds food by feel rather than sight. She surfaces to breathe, her sleek fur shedding water instantly. Then she dives again, continuing her search for worms, larvae, and small crustaceans. The platypus is crepuscular, most active at dawn and dusk. She spends the middle of the day in her burrow, a tunnel dug into the riverbank. Her webbed feet propel her through the water with surprising speed. She can stay submerged for several minutes, working the streambed for food. Let us return now to the Amazon to witness the night in full flower. The darkness here is complete, the canopy blocking even starlight. But the forest is not silent. Insects sing, frogs call, and somewhere in the distance, a jaguar coughs her territorial cry. The jaguar is the largest cat in the Americas, a powerful predator that hunts everything from fish to deer. Her spotted coat provides perfect camouflage in the dappled forest. She moves through the darkness with silent grace, her padded feet making no sound on the leaf litter. Her eyes, adapted for low light, see the world in shades of grey. She is hunting tonight, following the scent of a tapir that passed this way hours ago. Her patience is legendary. She will track her prey for miles, if necessary. The tapir is the largest land animal in South America, a gentle giant that feeds on leaves and fallen fruit. Despite her size, she is vulnerable to the jaguar's ambush. But tonight, the tapir has moved on, crossing a river that the jaguar is reluctant to swim. The hunt will continue another night. The jaguar finds a quiet spot and settles down to rest, her golden eyes closing slowly. Even predators need sleep. Nearby, a family of capybaras grazes in a moonlit clearing. These giant rodents, the largest in the world, are social creatures that live in groups. They spend much of their time in water, their webbed feet making them excellent swimmers. Their eyes, ears, and nostrils are positioned high on their heads, allowing them to stay mostly submerged. A baby capybara nurses from her mother, her small body pressed against the larger one for warmth. Capybaras are devoted mothers, caring for their young for several months. The group moves to the water's edge, wading in to escape the mosquitoes that plague the forest at night. They will sleep partially submerged, only their noses above the surface. A caiman watches from nearby, but the capybaras are too large for him to attack. They coexist in wary peace, predator and prey sharing the same water. The night passes slowly, the forest breathing in its ancient rhythm. Stars wheel overhead, invisible beneath the canopy, but present nonetheless. A potu sits motionless on a broken branch, her mottled plumage making her look like part of the tree. She is a master of camouflage, spending the day in plain sight, yet unseen. At night, she hunts, launching from her perch to catch moths and beetles in mid-flight. Her enormous mouth opens wide, scooping insects from the air. Her call is one of the most haunting sounds in the rainforest, a mournful whistle that rises and falls like a lament. Indigenous people have many legends about this sound. She returns to her perch, resuming her perfect stillness. By morning, she will be invisible again, a piece of wood in a world of wood. A kinkajou passes overhead, her golden fur catching the faint light. She has found a fruiting fig tree and is feasting on the sweet offerings. Figs are among the most important foods in the rainforest. They fruit year-round, providing sustenance when other foods are scarce. Hundreds of species depend on figs, from tiny insects to large mammals. The trees are keystone species, supporting entire communities of life. The kinkajou eats her fill, then moves on, searching for more. Her night is a journey through the canopy, following the scent of ripe fruit. As dawn approaches, the forest begins to wake. The first birds call tentatively, then more join in, building to a chorus that greets the sun. A howler monkey begins his morning call, the sound rolling across the canopy like thunder. His family joins in, their voices blending in the ancient ritual. The day shift is arriving, ready to take over from the creatures of the night. The forest never truly sleeps, it simply changes. A toucan flies to a fruiting palm, her enormous bill bright against the green leaves. Despite its size, the bill is surprisingly light, made of a honeycomb of bone and keratin. She uses it to reach fruit at the end of thin branches, plucking with delicate precision. The bill also helps regulate her body temperature, releasing heat through its large surface area. Her call is a croaking bark, less musical than many birds, but distinctive. Toucans are social, living in small flocks that roost together in tree hollows. She swallows a palm fruit whole, tilting her head back to let it slide down her throat. Then she reaches for another, methodically working through the bunch. A troop of spider monkeys swings through the canopy nearby, their long limbs and prehensile tails making them masters of arboreal travel. Spider monkeys are among the most intelligent of New World monkeys. They live in fission-fusion societies, breaking into smaller groups during the day and reuniting at night. A mother carries her infant on her back, the baby gripping tightly as she leaps between branches. The young monkey watches everything, learning the roots and rhythms of the forest. Spider monkeys eat mostly fruit, traveling long distances to find ripe offerings. They remember the locations of hundreds of trees and the times when each one fruits. This knowledge is passed from generation to generation, a cultural inheritance that helps the troop survive. The forest is their library, and they are its devoted students. Let us visit now a different part of the rainforest, the flooded forests of the Amazon's tributaries. Here, the line between water and land disappears. During the wet season, rivers overflow their banks, flooding the forest for miles. Fish swim among the trees, and dolphins hunt where birds once flew. This is the Varzea, the seasonally flooded forest that pulses with the rhythm of the rains. It is one of the most productive ecosystems on Earth. A school of tambaki swims through the submerged forest, feeding on fallen fruits and seeds. These large fish can weigh up to 60 pounds, growing fat on the forest's bounty. They have powerful jaws that can crack even hard-shelled nuts. The sound of their feeding, a constant cracking and crunching, echoes through the underwater world. When the waters recede, the tambaki will move to the main river channels, waiting for the next flood. Their lives are synchronized with the seasons. A manatee grazes on aquatic plants in a quiet backwater, her grey body barely visible in the murky water. Amazonian manatees are the smallest of the manatee species. She is a gentle creature, spending her days eating and resting. Manatees have no natural predators as adults, though young ones may fall prey to caimans and jaguars. Her calf swims beside her, learning which plants are good to eat. Manatee mothers nurse their young for up to 2 years, a long investment in each offspring. They communicate with squeaks and chirps, sounds that travel well through water. The bond between mother and calf is strong and enduring. Above the water, a hoatzin perches on a branch, her punk rock crest giving her a perpetually surprised appearance. Hoatzins are among the strangest birds in the world. They eat leaves, which they ferment in a specialized crop, similar to how cows digest grass. This gives them a distinctive odor, earning them the nickname stink bird. Hoatzin chicks have claws on their wings, which they use to climb through the vegetation. If threatened, they will drop into the water and swim to safety, climbing back up when danger passes. This adaptation is a glimpse into the past, a reminder that birds evolved from dinosaurs with clawed limbs. The hoatzin is a living fossil, unchanged for millions of years. A pair of scarlet ibises flies overhead, their brilliant red plumage blazing against the green forest. They are heading to their roost, a mangrove island where hundreds gather each evening. The colour comes from the crustaceans they eat, carotenoid pigments that accumulate in their feathers. Without this diet, they would be white. They land in the mangroves, joining others already there. The trees turn red with their presence, a spectacular sight as the sun sets. The ibises settle in for the night, preening and calling softly. They are safe here, surrounded by water that keeps predators at bay. As darkness falls over the flooded forest, the night creatures begin to stir. A fishing bat skims over the water, using echolocation to detect ripples made by fish. She dips her clawed feet into the water, snagging a small fish in a move too fast to see. She carries her catch to a nearby branch to eat. Fishing bats are among the few bats that hunt over water. Their echolocation is specially adapted to detect the subtle disturbances made by fish near the surface. She hunts for hours, catching dozens of fish before dawn. Then she returns to her roost, a hollow tree where she sleeps with others of her kind. The flooded forest is a world of constant change, rising and falling with the seasons. Life here must be adaptable, ready to move and change with the water. Let us travel now to the peat swamp forests of Southeast Asia, another kind of flooded forest with its own unique character. These forests grow on deep layers of peat, partially decomposed plant material that has accumulated over thousands of years. The water here is dark and acidic. The trees are adapted to waterlogged conditions, their roots spreading wide for stability in the soft ground. Many have buttress roots, flanges that extend from the trunk like wings. An orangutan wades through the shallow water, her long arms holding branches for balance. She is searching for fruit, following a route she has known since childhood. Orangutans in peat swamp forests have learned to use the water to their advantage. They wade through flooded areas that ground predators cannot cross. She finds a fruiting tree and climbs up, settling on a branch to eat. The fruit is tart and fibrous, but she eats it methodically, extracting every bit of nutrition. Below, a false gharial floats in the dark water, her long, narrow snout barely breaking the surface. She is a crocodilian, but not a true crocodile. False gharials eat mainly fish, their narrow jaws perfect for quick sideways strikes. They are shy and rarely seen, preferring the quietest parts of the swamp. She has been floating here for hours, waiting for prey to swim within range. Her patience is absolute, her stillness complete. A fish passes too close, and she strikes, her jaws snapping shut with audible force. She swallows the fish whole, then returns to her waiting. The peat swamp is a carbon sink, storing vast amounts of carbon in its waterlogged soils. When these forests are drained or burned, they release this carbon into the atmosphere. But intact, they are among the most valuable ecosystems on Earth, storing carbon that would otherwise warm our planet. A proboscis monkey troop moves through the trees at the edge of the swamp, their pot-bellied shapes silhouetted against the sky. They are heading to their sleeping trees. They will spend the night in trees near the water, where they can escape quickly if predators approach. The splash of a monkey hitting the water is a common sound here at night. The swamp falls quiet as darkness deepens. The sounds are different here, muffled by the dense vegetation and the soft peat. A slow loris emerges from her sleeping hole, her enormous eyes reflecting the faint light. She moves with characteristic deliberation, never hurrying. She finds a tree with flowing sap, a wound in the bark that weeps sticky sweetness. She licks at it methodically, her rough tongue scraping the bark. Slow lorises are the only venomous primates, and this one has been grooming her fur with her toxic saliva. Any predator that bites her will regret it. She moves on, searching for insects and small vertebrates. Her hunting style is the opposite of the tarsiers' explosive leaps. She approaches prey slowly, then grabs with sudden speed. A civet passes below, her spotted coat blending into the shadows. Civets are omnivores, eating everything from fruit to small animals. They are important seed dispersers, especially for plants whose seeds need to pass through an animal's gut to germinate. The civet's wanderings help the forest reproduce. She finds a fallen durian, its spiky shell cracked open to reveal the pungent flesh. Civets love durian, and they are among the few animals that can stomach its strong smell. She eats her fill, then moves on, carrying seeds that will be deposited miles away. The forest spreads through her wanderings. Let us return once more to the Amazon, to a place where the forest meets the river in a tangle of roots and water. This is the Igapo, the black water flooded forest, where the water is stained dark by tannins from decomposing leaves. It looks like tea, clear but deeply coloured. The trees here are adapted to months of flooding, their trunks submerged for half the year. Some can even photosynthesize underwater, their leaves functioning in the dim aquatic light. A school of cardinal tetras swims through the submerged forest, their red and blue stripes flashing in the filtered sunlight. These tiny fish are among the most colourful in the Amazon. They feed on tiny invertebrates and fallen insects, darting through the water with quick, precise movements. Millions of them are exported each year for the aquarium trade. But here, in their home, they are simply part of the forest, one thread in the vast tapestry of life. A peacock base lurks among the roots, her spotted body camouflaged against the bark. She is waiting for prey, her eyes tracking the movements of smaller fish. Peacock base are ambush predators, striking with explosive speed when prey comes within range. They are popular with sport fishermen, but here they are simply part of the ecosystem. She strikes, a blur of motion that ends with a small fish in her jaws. She swallows it quickly, then returns to her waiting. Above the water, a kingfisher watches from an overhanging branch. She has seen the base strike and knows there are fish here worth hunting. She dives, a streak of blue and orange that pierces the dark water. She emerges with a tetra in her beak, flying back to her perch to eat. The kingfisher is a patient hunter, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. She may dive dozens of times before catching a fish, but she never seems discouraged. A giant river otter surfaces nearby, her sleek head breaking the water without a sound. She has been hunting in the deeper channels, where larger fish swim. She carries a catfish in her paws, a substantial meal that she will eat floating on her back. Her family waits nearby, hoping for a share. Giant otters are social hunters, working together to drive fish into shallow water where they can be caught more easily. Their cooperation makes them formidable predators. The family moves on, following the river through the flooded forest. They will travel miles today, hunting and playing in equal measure. As the day warms, the forest grows quiet. Many animals rest during the hottest hours, conserving energy for the cooler morning and evening. A boa constrictor lies coiled on a branch, her patterned skin blending perfectly with the bark. She has eaten recently and will not need to hunt for weeks. Boas are ambush predators, waiting for prey to come within striking distance. They kill by constriction, wrapping their powerful coils around their prey and squeezing. This one is digesting a small monkey, a meal that will sustain her for a month or more. Her metabolism slows as she processes the food, and she becomes almost dormant. She will not move from this spot until hunger drives her to hunt again. The forest is patient, and so is she. A morpho butterfly drifts past, her blue wings catching the filtered light. She lands on a spot of sunlight, basking in the warmth. Morphos are heliotherms, using the sun's heat to warm their flight muscles. They need to be warm to fly efficiently, so they seek out sunny spots throughout the day. She opens and closes her wings slowly, the blue flashing and disappearing in a hypnotic rhythm. Then she takes off, drifting deeper into the forest. A poison dart frog sits on a leaf near the forest floor, her bright colors warning predators of her toxicity. She is a strawberry poison dart frog, red with blue legs. The toxins in her skin come from the insects she eats, particularly ants and mites. Frogs raised in captivity, fed different diets, are not toxic. Indigenous people have long used these toxins to poison their hunting darts, hence the frog's common name. A single frog contains enough poison to kill several humans. But she is not aggressive, simply going about her life, hunting tiny insects among the leaf litter. Her colors are a warning, not a threat. A male calls from nearby, a series of buzzing chirps that carry through the understory. He is guarding a clutch of eggs, keeping them moist until they hatch. When the tadpoles emerge, the female will carry them on her back to small pools of water in bromeliad plants. Each tadpole gets its own pool, where it will grow until it metamorphoses. She will return regularly to feed them, laying unfertilized eggs in the water for them to eat. It is an extraordinary level of parental care for a frog. The forest is full of such stories, relationships, and behaviors that have evolved over millions of years. Each creature is a chapter in a book that has been writing itself since life began. Let us move now to the forest canopy, that sunlit realm where most of the rainforest's photosynthesis occurs. The canopy is like a second forest, a world of branches and leaves suspended high above the ground. Many animals spend their entire lives here, never descending to the forest floor. A woolly monkey reaches for a cluster of figs, her prehensile tail wrapped around a branch for balance. Woolly monkeys are among the most arboreal of all primates. Their tails are incredibly strong, able to support their entire body weight. The underside of the tail tip is hairless and sensitive, almost like a fifth hand. She plucks a fig and examines it, then pops it into her mouth. Figs are a favorite food, and she will spend hours in this tree eating her fill. Her infant clings to her back, watching everything with wide eyes. Young woolly monkeys stay with their mothers for several years, learning the ways of the canopy. A toucan lands nearby, her enormous bill bright against the green leaves. She too is here for the figs, and she begins to feed alongside the monkey. There is no competition between them. The tree has more than enough fruit for both, and they ignore each other, focused on their meals. A squirrel-monkey troop arrives, dozens of small bodies swarming through the branches. They are the most social of all New World monkeys, living in groups of up to 500 individuals. They chatter and squeak as they feed, maintaining contact with constant vocalizations. The noise is overwhelming for a moment, then they move on, and silence returns. The canopy is a world of constant movement, animals coming and going as they follow the food. Trees fruit at different times, and knowing when and where to find food is essential knowledge. A sloth hangs motionless in a cecropia tree, her green-tinged fur making her nearly invisible. She has found a comfortable position and will not move for hours. Sloths are so slow that moths, beetles and algae live in their fur, creating a tiny ecosystem. The algae provides camouflage, and the insects feed on the algae. When the sloth descends to defecate, the moths fly down to lay their eggs in the dung. The hatched larvae will climb back up the tree to find the sloth. This relationship is so specific that each sloth species has its own species of moth. They have evolved together, their lives intertwined. The sloth reaches out slowly, pulling a cecropia leaf toward her mouth. She chews methodically, her low metabolism extracting every bit of nutrition from the tough leaves. Cecropia trees are fast-growing pioneers, colonizing gaps in the forest where large trees have fallen. They are not long-lived, but they provide food and shelter for many animals. The hollow stems of cecropia trees are often home to Azteca ants, fierce defenders that swarm out to attack anything that disturbs the tree. In return, the tree provides them with food and shelter. This partnership, called mutualism, is common in the rainforest. Species help each other, their fates linked by millions of years of coevolution. A hummingbird hovers at a heliconia flower, her wings a blur of motion. She is a long-tailed hermit, her curved bill perfectly matched to the flower's shape. The flower has evolved to attract this specific pollinator, its shape and color designed to appeal to hummingbird senses. The bird gets nectar, the flower gets pollinated. She moves to the next flower and the next, following a route she has memorized. Hummingbirds are creatures of habit, visiting the same flowers at the same times each day. This predictability helps the flowers too. They can time their nectar production to coincide with the birds' visits, ensuring efficient pollination. The hermit finishes her rounds and flies to a perch, resting for a moment before beginning again. Her life is a constant cycle of feeding and resting, burning energy and replacing it. A harpy eagle soars overhead, her broad wings casting a shadow on the canopy. She is the apex predator here, feared by all the smaller creatures. But she is not hunting now. She is simply flying, riding the thermals that rise from the sun-warmed canopy. Her nest is nearby, and her chick waits for her return. Harpy eagles mate for life and raise only one chick every 2 to 3 years. They invest heavily in each offspring, feeding it for months until it can hunt on its own. The chick is already large, nearly adult-sized, but still dependent on its parents for food. It will stay near the nest for another year, learning to hunt. The eagle descends, landing on the nest with a soft thump. The chick calls eagerly, and the parent begins to tear apart a piece of meat, feeding the young bird. This is the rhythm of life in the canopy: predator and prey, parent and child, each playing their part in the endless cycle. Let us descend now to the understory, that shadowy realm between the canopy and the forest floor. The light here is dim, filtered through layers of leaves above. Plants have adapted to these low-light conditions, their leaves often large and dark green to capture every photon. A tamarin family moves through the understory, their small bodies leaping from branch to branch. Golden lion tamarins are among the most beautiful of all primates. Their fur is a brilliant orange gold, surrounding their faces like manes. They are small, weighing less than 2 pounds, but full of energy and curiosity. They live in family groups, with both parents caring for the young. Twins are common, and older siblings often help carry and care for the babies. This family is searching for insects, their primary food. They probe bark crevices and unfurl leaves, finding hidden beetles and caterpillars. A tamarin finds a tree hole full of gum, a sweet sap that oozes from wounds in the bark. She licks at it, eagerly, a high-energy treat. The family moves on, following well-known routes through their territory. They know every fruiting tree, every insect-rich log, every safe sleeping site. Golden lion tamarins were once critically endangered, their Atlantic forest home reduced to tiny fragments. Conservation efforts have brought them back from the brink. Reforestation and breeding programs have increased their numbers, and corridors of forest now connect isolated populations. It is a rare conservation success story. A fer de lance lies coiled among the leaf litter, her camouflage so perfect she is nearly invisible. She is one of the most venomous snakes in the Americas. But she's not aggressive, preferring to avoid confrontation. She will strike only if stepped on or threatened, and even then, she often delivers a dry bite without venom. She's waiting for prey, a rat or mouse that might wander too close. Her heat-sensing pits can detect warm-blooded animals in complete darkness. A mouse does approach, drawn by the scent of fallen fruit. The snake strikes, a blur of motion too fast to see. The mouse runs a few steps, then collapses. The snake follows slowly, in no hurry now. She finds the mouse and begins to swallow it, her jaws unhinging to accommodate the meal. It will take her hours to swallow the mouse completely and days to digest it. But she has all the time in the world. A coati troop passes nearby, their long noses probing the leaf litter for insects and fallen fruit. They are aware of the snake, but not afraid. Coatis are intelligent and cautious, giving the snake a wide berth. They have learned to recognize danger and avoid it. The troop moves on, their soft calls maintaining contact in the dim light. They will forage until evening, then climb to the canopy to sleep. A blue-crowned motmot perches on a low branch, her long tail feathers swinging like a pendulum. She has caught a large insect and is beating it against the branch. Motmots are patient hunters, sitting quietly until prey comes within range, then striking with quick precision. They eat insects, small lizards, and fruit. Her tail feathers are distinctive, with racket-shaped tips created by deliberate preening. She removes the barbs from the central part of the feather, leaving only the tips. The purpose of this modification is unclear. It may be a signal to potential mates, or it may help with balance during flight. The motmot keeps her secrets. She swallows the insect and resumes her watch, her eyes scanning the understory for movement. The forest provides for those who know how to wait. Let us move now to a clearing in the forest, a gap created by a fallen giant. Here, sunlight reaches the forest floor, and life responds. The clearing is a riot of growth, plants competing for the precious light. Heliconia and ginger push up from the ground, their broad leaves reaching for the sun. Pioneer trees are already sprouting fast-growing species that will eventually close the gap. But for now, the clearing is a haven for sun-loving plants and animals. A morpho butterfly basks on a sunlit leaf, her wings spread wide. She is absorbing heat, preparing her flight muscles for the day's activities. A hummingbird visits a heliconia flower, her wings humming as she hovers. The clearing is full of flowers, a feast for nectar-feeding birds and insects. A peccary family roots through the undergrowth, their pig-like snouts turning over soil and leaf litter. They are searching for roots, tubers, and fallen fruit. Peccaries are social animals, living in groups called squadrons. They communicate with grunts and clicks, maintaining contact as they forage. A baby peccary stays close to its mother, learning which foods are safe to eat. Young peccaries are vulnerable to predators, and the adults are always watchful. The squadron moves on, leaving behind a patch of disturbed soil. This disturbance is good for the forest, turning over nutrients and creating opportunities for new growth. A tyra watches from the edge of the clearing, her dark fur blending into the shadows. She's considering whether to hunt the peccaries, but decides against it. Peccaries can be dangerous when threatened, their sharp tusks capable of inflicting serious injury. The tyra will find easier prey elsewhere. She moves on, disappearing into the understory. The forest is full of opportunities for those who know where to look. The clearing will close eventually, the pioneer trees growing tall and shading out the sun-loving plants. But for now, it is a window of light in the green darkness. Let us travel now to the rivers once more, following the water as it flows toward the sea. The Amazon River is immense, carrying more water than any other river on Earth. At its mouth, it is so wide that you cannot see from one side to the other. But here, in the forest, it is still a river of reasonable size, its brown waters flowing steadily through the green landscape. A giant river turtle basks on a log, her shell warming in the sun. These turtles can live for decades, growing to impressive sizes. She has seen many seasons, many floods and droughts. The river is her home, and she knows its rhythms intimately. A yellow-spotted river turtle joins her on the log, a smaller species with distinctive markings. They share the basking spot peacefully, absorbing the sun's warmth. Turtles are ectotherms, relying on external heat to regulate their body temperature. Basking is essential for their metabolism and digestion. A caiman surfaces nearby, his eyes and nostrils breaking the water. He is not interested in the turtles. Their shells are too hard for him to crack. He's waiting for fish, or perhaps a bird that ventures too close to the water. His patience is legendary. He can wait for hours without moving. A kingfisher dives from an overhanging branch, emerging with a small fish. She is aware of the caiman, but not afraid. She's too fast, too agile for him to catch. She returns to her perch and swallows the fish, then watches for another opportunity. The river is her hunting ground, and she knows it well. A school of piranhas swims past, their silver bodies flashing in the murky water. Piranhas have a fearsome reputation, but they are mostly scavengers. They will attack living prey only when food is scarce or when an animal is already injured. Most of the time, they feed on dead fish, insects, and plant material. A piranha breaks the surface, snapping at a fallen insect. Its teeth are razor sharp, designed for cutting flesh, but it is not the mindless killer of popular imagination. The school moves on, following the current downstream. They are social fish, finding safety in numbers. A pink river dolphin surfaces, exhaling with a soft puff. She has been hunting in the murky water, using echolocation to find her prey. Her flexible neck allows her to turn her head, navigating the flooded forests where other dolphins cannot go. She is perfectly adapted to this environment. She dives again, her pink body disappearing into the brown water. She will surface again in a few minutes, continuing her endless hunt. The river flows on, carrying life and nutrients toward the sea. It has flowed this way for millions of years, shaping the land and the creatures that live here. As evening approaches, the forest begins to change. The day shift is ending, and the night shift is preparing to take over. A troop of howler monkeys begins their evening chorus, their calls echoing across the canopy. It is a sound that has filled this forest for millions of years. The calls rise and fall, building to a crescendo, then fading away. Silence returns, broken only by the sounds of insects and frogs. A nightjar begins to call, a repetitive whistle that will continue for hours. Nightjars are nocturnal, hunting insects on the wing. Bats emerge from their roosts, filling the air with their high-pitched echolocation calls. They are the night's most numerous predators, consuming vast quantities of insects. A fishing bat skims over the river, her sonar detecting ripples made by fish near the surface. She dips her clawed feet into the water, snagging a small fish. The night is full of activity, a different world from the day. The forest never truly sleeps, it simply changes. A tapir emerges from the forest, her long nose twitching as she tests the air. She's heading to the river to drink and feed on aquatic plants. Tapirs are excellent swimmers, spending much of their time in water. Their flexible noses can be used as snorkels, allowing them to breathe while mostly submerged. She wades into the shallows, drinking deeply. The water is cool and refreshing after the heat of the day. A caiman watches from nearby, but the tapir is too large for him to attack. They share the river in wary peace. The tapir feeds on water hyacinths, pulling the plants from the water with her flexible lips. She will eat for hours, building the reserves she needs to survive. As the night deepens, the forest settles into its nocturnal rhythm. Predators hunt, prey hides, and the ancient dance continues. A jaguar drinks from the river, her golden eyes reflecting the moonlight. She has hunted successfully tonight, and now she rests. She is the queen of this forest, the apex predator that all others fear. But she is also a mother with cubs waiting in a hidden den. She will return to them soon, bringing food and protection. For now, she simply rests, listening to the sounds of the night. The moon rises over the canopy, its silver light filtering through the leaves. The forest is bathed in soft illumination, shadows shifting with the breeze. An owl calls from a high branch, a deep hoot that carries through the darkness. She is a spectacled owl, her face marked with distinctive white spectacles. She is hunting, her keen ears detecting the movements of small mammals in the leaf litter below. Her flight is silent, her approach undetectable. She strikes, her talons closing on a mouse. The hunt is over in an instant, and she carries her prey to a branch to eat. The forest provides for those who know how to take. Life and death are woven together here, each dependent on the other. As dawn approaches, the night creatures begin to retire. Bats return to their roosts, owls to their sleeping perches. The first birds begin to call, tentative at first, then building to a chorus. The day shift is arriving, ready to take over. A toucan calls from a fruiting tree, her croaking bark announcing the new day. She has been waiting for the light, eager to begin feeding. A troop of capuchin monkeys wakes in their sleeping tree, grooming and stretching before beginning their daily foraging. They are intelligent and adaptable, among the most successful of all primates. The forest comes alive with activity, the endless cycle beginning again. This is the rhythm of the rainforest, unchanged for millions of years. Let us rest now, here in this ancient forest, and let its rhythms become our own. The rainforest breathes around us, a living entity of unimaginable complexity. Every creature, every plant, every drop of water is connected to every other. This is a place where life has flourished for millions of years, evolving and adapting, creating relationships and dependencies that we are only beginning to understand. The trees reach for the sky, their roots anchored in soil that has been building for millennia. They are the pillars of this world, supporting everything else. The animals move through their days and nights, hunting and eating, mating and raising young. They are the threads that weave this tapestry together. The water flows endlessly from cloud to rain, to river to sea, and back again. It is the blood of the forest, carrying life wherever it goes. And we are here, quiet observers, privileged to witness this ancient wonder. We are part of this world too, connected to it in ways we often forget. The rainforest asks nothing of us but our attention, our respect, our willingness to learn. It has been teaching for millions of years, and it has so much more to share. So let us rest now, cradled in the green twilight, listening to the sounds of life all around us. Let the forest breathe for us. Let its rhythms become our heartbeat. The howler monkeys call in the distance, a sound that has echoed through this forest since before humans existed. It is a lullaby, ancient and soothing. The frogs sing their evening chorus, a symphony of small voices raised in celebration of another day survived, another night begun. The river flows on, carrying its endless cargo of water and life. It asks nothing, gives everything, and never stops. This is the rainforest, one of the greatest treasures of our planet. It is a place of wonder and mystery, of beauty beyond description. And it is here, waiting for us, whenever we need to remember what the world can be. A place of life, of connection, of peace. So close your eyes now, and let the forest hold you. Let its sounds become your dreams, its rhythms your rest. The night is gentle here, the darkness soft and welcoming. The creatures of the night go about their business, and we are safe among them. Sleep now, knowing that the rainforest continues, that life persists, that the ancient cycles turn on and on. This is the way it has always been, and the way it will continue. The forest breathes, and so do we. The forest rests, and so do we. The forest dreams, and so do we. Good night, gentle traveller. The rainforest holds you in its green embrace, and all is well. The canopy sways gently in the night breeze, a motion so subtle it is almost imperceptible. Leaves rustle against each other, a soft whisper that fills the darkness. Somewhere, a sloth shifts on her branch, finding a more comfortable position. Her movements are so slow they barely disturb the air. A kinkajou pauses in her nightly rounds, resting for a moment on a broad branch. Her golden fur catches the faint starlight that filters through the leaves. The river flows on, its surface smooth and dark. A caiman floats motionless, dreaming whatever dreams caimans dream. A family of capybaras sleeps in the shallows, their bodies half submerged, their noses just above the water. They are safe here, together. The moon moves slowly across the sky, its light shifting through the canopy. Shadows lengthen and shorten, a dance of light and darkness. A jaguar rests in her den, her cubs curled against her warm body. She purrs softly, a sound of contentment and peace. The forest breathes around them all, exhaling oxygen into the night air. It has been doing this for millions of years, and it will continue for millions more. This is the rainforest at rest, the great engine of life slowing but never stopping. Even in sleep, it creates, it nurtures, it sustains, and we are part of it, connected to it by the very air we breathe. The oxygen in our lungs came from these trees, these leaves, this ancient green world. So breathe deeply now and know that you are breathing the rainforest. Let it fill you, let it calm you, let it carry you into sleep. The night deepens and the forest settles into its quietest hours. Even the insects seem to pause, their songs fading to a gentle hum. A owl glides silently through the understory, her wings making no sound. She is hunting, but her hunt is patient, unhurried. A mouse freezes in the leaf litter, sensing danger, but not knowing where it comes from. The owl passes, and the mouse relaxes, continuing its foraging. Life and death dance together here, as they have always done. It is not cruel, not kind, simply the way of things. The forest accepts it all, the living and the dying, the hunters and the hunted. It makes no judgments, offers no commentary. It simply is. And in that simplicity, there is peace. The rainforest does not worry about tomorrow, does not regret yesterday. It exists in the eternal present. We can learn from this if we let ourselves. We can let go of our worries, our regrets, our fears. We can simply be here, now, in this moment. The forest teaches us this, if we are willing to listen. It has been teaching for millions of years, and it will continue long after we are gone. So let us learn now, in this quiet moment. Let us be present. Let us be peaceful. Let us be at rest. The night passes slowly, hour by hour, the forest breathing its ancient rhythm. The stars wheel overhead, invisible but present. A new day is coming, but it is not here yet. For now, there is only this moment, this breath, this peace. The rainforest holds us gently, as it holds all life. It asks nothing, gives everything, and waits patiently for the dawn. Sleep now, cradled in the green darkness. The forest watches over you, and all is well. The first hint of dawn appears on the horizon, a pale glow that slowly brightens. The night creatures begin to retire, seeking their daytime shelters. A bat returns to her roost, folding her wings and settling in for the day. She has fed well tonight, and now she rests. An owl finds her sleeping perch, a hidden spot in a dense tangle of vines. She closes her eyes, trusting the forest to protect her. The day creatures begin to stir, stretching and yawning, preparing for another day. A monkey reaches for a nearby fruit, breaking her fast. But the transition is gradual, unhurried. The forest does not rush from night to day. It flows like water, like breath. And we can flow with it, letting go of urgency, letting go of time. Here, in this ancient place, there is only the eternal now. The sky lightens, pink and gold spreading across the horizon. Birds begin to call, their songs filling the air with music. A toucan stretches her wings, then settles back on her branch. She is in no hurry. The fruit will be there when she is ready. A sloth opens her eyes slowly, blinking in the growing light. She will not move for hours yet, but she is awake in her slow, peaceful way. The forest wakes around us, gentle and gradual. There is no alarm, no urgency, only the soft unfolding of another day. And we can rest in this unfolding, letting it carry us where it will. The rainforest asks nothing of us but our presence. So stay here, in this peaceful place, as long as you need. The forest will wait for you, as it has always waited. The day brightens, the canopy glowing green with filtered sunlight. The forest is fully awake now, humming with life. But even in this activity, there is peace. The rainforest moves at its own pace, unhurried, eternal, and we move with it, breathing its air, sharing its rhythm. We are part of this world, connected to it in ways we cannot fully understand. This is the gift of the rainforest, this sense of connection, of belonging. We are not separate from nature. We are nature. So let this knowledge settle into your heart and let it bring you peace. You belong here in this green world, in this moment. The rainforest holds you, and you hold the rainforest. You are one now and always. Sleep well, gentle traveller. The forest dreams with you, and all is well. The morning mist rises from the forest floor, curling through the trees like gentle spirits. It catches the light, glowing softly gold and silver. A spider web stretches between two branches, its threads jeweled with dewdrops. The spider waits at the center, patient and still. A hummingbird visits a flower, her wings humming in the quiet air. She drinks deeply, then moves on to the next blossom. The forest is full of these small moments, these tiny perfections. They happen constantly, whether anyone is watching or not. But we are watching now, and we are grateful. The rainforest shares its beauty freely, asking nothing in return. A butterfly lands on a sunlit leaf, spreading her wings to absorb the warmth. Her colours are impossibly bright, a fragment of sky come down to earth. A monkey calls in the distance, a sound of contentment and connection. Her family is near, and all is well. The river flows on, carrying its endless cargo of water and life. It has been flowing for millions of years, and it will flow for millions more. This is the rainforest, ancient and eternal, beautiful beyond words. It is a treasure beyond price, a gift beyond measure. And it is here, now, holding us in its green embrace. We are safe here, we are peaceful here, we are home. So rest now, and let the forest care for you. Let its sounds become your lullaby, its rhythms your heartbeat. The day continues, the night will come again, and the cycle will turn on and on. This is the way of the rainforest, the way of life itself. And we are part of it, woven into its tapestry, connected to its web. We belong here, in this green world, in this moment. Sleep well, gentle traveller. The rainforest holds you, and all is well. Deep Sleep Studios presents Whispers of the Rainforest. A gentle journey to peaceful sleep. Part 5. The River's Lullaby. As we leave the forest floor behind, a new sound reaches our ears, the gentle murmur of flowing water, growing clearer with each step we take. The trees begin to thin slightly, and through the gaps in the foliage we catch glimpses of silver light dancing on a moving surface. We have found the river. This waterway winds through the rainforest like a ribbon of liquid silk, its dark waters reflecting the canopy above like a living mirror. The river is the forest's lifeline, carrying nutrients, stories, and countless creatures through the heart of this green world. Let us pause here at the water's edge and watch. The riverbank is soft, with accumulated leaves and rich, dark soil. Roots from nearby trees reach down into the water like fingers, seeking refreshment, creating intricate patterns that shelter small fish and aquatic insects. The air here feels different, cooler, fresher, carrying the clean scent of water and wet earth. Notice how the river moves. It does not rush or hurry despite its constant motion. The water flows with patient purpose, finding its way around rocks and fallen branches with effortless grace. There is no struggle in its movement, no resistance, only a gentle, persistent journey toward some distant destination we cannot see. This is how sleep can come to us, not forced or hurried, but flowing naturally, finding its own path through the landscape of our consciousness. A small splash draws our attention to the shallows near the bank. There, barely visible against the muddy bottom, a freshwater stingray glides through the water with movements so smooth it seems to float rather than swim. Its flat, circular body ripples gently at the edges, propelling it forward with minimal effort. The freshwater stingray is a master of energy conservation. It spends much of its time resting on the river bottom, partially buried in sand or mud, conserving its strength for the moments when movement is truly necessary. When it does swim, it does so with such efficiency that it barely disturbs the water around it. Watch how it settles now, finding a comfortable spot in the soft sediment. Its body relaxes, its breathing slows, and it becomes almost invisible, just another shadow on the river floor. There is wisdom in this stillness, in knowing when to move and when to rest, when to engage with the world and when to simply be. Further out in the river, where the water runs deeper and darker, we might catch a glimpse of the arapaima, one of the largest freshwater fish in the world. This ancient creature can grow to enormous sizes, yet it moves through the water with surprising gentleness. The arapaima is a survivor from prehistoric times, its lineage stretching back millions of years. It has witnessed the rise and fall of countless species, the slow dance of continents, the gradual shaping of the world we know today. Yet here it still swims, patient and enduring, a living link to the deep past. What secrets might such an ancient creature know? What wisdom has it gathered in its long lineage? Perhaps it understands something fundamental about persistence and patience, about the value of moving slowly through life, conserving energy for what truly matters. Every 20 minutes or so, the arapaima rises to the surface to breathe. It gulps air with a sound like a soft sigh, then sinks back into the depths. This rhythm, rise, breathe, descend, continues throughout the day and night, a meditation in motion that has remained unchanged for countless generations. Along the riverbank, we notice movement in the overhanging branches. A family of capybaras has come to drink and rest in the shallows. These gentle giants, the largest rodents in the world, move with a calm that seems almost philosophical. Capybaras are the embodiment of relaxation. Watch how they wade into the water, their round bodies settling into the coolness with visible contentment. Their eyes half close in pleasure as the water rises around them, washing away the heat of the day. Some float with just their noses and eyes above the surface, drifting peacefully in the gentle current. There is no anxiety in a capybara, no hurry or worry. They exist in a state of perpetual calm that seems to affect all the creatures around them. Birds perch on their backs without fear. Fish swim between their legs. Even potential predators seem to relax in their presence, as if the capybara's peace is contagious. Perhaps we can learn from these gentle creatures. Perhaps we can allow their calm to seep into us, softening the tension we carry, smoothing the rough edges of our thoughts. Let your body relax like a capybara settling into cool water. Let your mind float like they float, supported and at ease. A flash of pink catches our eye, a river dolphin surfacing briefly before disappearing back into the depths. These rare and beautiful creatures are among the most mysterious inhabitants of the rainforest rivers. Their pink colouring seems almost magical, a splash of unexpected colour in the brown and green world of the waterway. River dolphins navigate through murky waters using echolocation, sending out clicks and listening for the echoes that return. They build a picture of their world through sound alone, moving confidently through darkness that would blind other creatures. There is something reassuring about this ability, the knowledge that even in darkness, even when we cannot see the way forward, there are other senses, other ways of knowing that can guide us safely through. The dolphins here are playful, despite their mysterious nature. Sometimes if we are very still and very patient, we might see them leap from the water in graceful arcs, their pink bodies catching the light before splashing back into the river. These moments of joy, these expressions of pure delight in being alive, remind us that even in the depths of the rainforest, there is room for play and pleasure. As we continue along the riverbank, the vegetation changes subtly. Here, where the water regularly floods during the rainy season, the trees have adapted to life in two worlds, rooted in earth but often submerged in water. Their trunks are swollen at the base, designed to store oxygen during the months when their roots are underwater. This flooded forest, called the Varzea, is a world between worlds. During high water, fish swim among the tree trunks, feeding on fruits and seeds that fall from above. It is a forest that breathes with the seasons, expanding and contracting with the rise and fall of the waters. In the shallows of this flooded forest, we find the hoatzin, perhaps the strangest bird in all the rainforest. With its spiky crest, blue face, and prehistoric appearance, it looks like a creature from another time, and in many ways, it is. The hoatzin is sometimes called the stink bird because of its unusual digestive system, which ferments leaves like a cow's stomach. But let us look past this unglamorous nickname to appreciate the bird's remarkable nature. Hoatzin chicks are born with claws on their wings, a feature that recalls the ancient connection between birds and their dinosaur ancestors. These claws allow the young birds to climb back to their nests if they fall into the water below. Watch the hootsin now as it settles onto a branch overhanging the water. Its movements are slow and deliberate, almost clumsy compared to other birds. Yet there is no shame in its awkwardness, no attempt to be something it is not. The hootsin simply is what it is, unique, unusual, perfectly adapted to its own way of life. There is comfort in this acceptance. We do not all need to be graceful or swift or conventionally beautiful. We can be exactly what we are, moving through life at our own pace, finding our own way to thrive. The river widens here, and we can see a small island in the middle of the current, a sandbar that has accumulated over countless seasons. On this temporary land, a group of yellow-spotted river turtles has gathered to bask in a patch of sunlight that filters through the canopy. These turtles are patient creatures, content to spend hours in quiet stillness, absorbing warmth from the sun and the sand beneath them. Their shells, dark with distinctive yellow spots, rise and fall gently with their slow breathing. Occasionally, one will shift position slightly, adjusting to find the most comfortable angle, but otherwise, they remain motionless, masters of the art of doing nothing at all. The yellow-spotted river turtle can live for many decades, growing slowly, moving slowly, experiencing the world at a pace that seems almost geological compared to our hurried human lives. What might the world look like from such a perspective? How might our worries and concerns appear if we could see them from the viewpoint of a creature that measures time in decades rather than days? Perhaps our troubles would seem smaller, more manageable. Perhaps we would recognize that most of what concerns us is temporary, passing, like ripples on the surface of the river that smooth out and disappear downstream. A kingfisher darts past, a streak of iridescent blue and orange that moves almost too fast to see. It hovers briefly over the water, its wings a blur, then plunges downward with perfect precision. A moment later, it emerges with a small fish in its beak and flies to a nearby branch to enjoy its meal. The kingfisher's hunting technique is remarkable in its efficiency. It does not chase its prey through the water or struggle to catch it. Instead, it waits and watches, patient and alert, until the perfect moment presents itself. Then it acts, swift, decisive, successful. There is a lesson here about the balance between patience and action, between waiting and doing. The kingfisher does not exhaust itself with constant effort. It conserves its energy, trusts in its abilities, and moves only when the time is right. As the afternoon light begins to soften, the river takes on a golden quality. The water, which appeared dark and mysterious in the bright light of midday, now glows with reflected warmth. Insects dance above the surface, their tiny bodies catching the light like living sparks. This is the magic hour on the river, a time of transition when the world seems to hold its breath between day and night. The creatures of the day begin to seek their resting places, while those of the night start to stir. The air itself seems to thicken with anticipation, with the promise of the gentle darkness to come. Let us find a comfortable spot on the riverbank and rest here for a moment. Feel the soft earth beneath you, the cool air rising from the water. Listen to the river's endless song, that gentle, constant murmur that has continued without pause for thousands upon thousands of years. This river has flowed through countless nights, carrying its waters toward the distant sea. It has witnessed generations of creatures being born, living, and returning to the earth. It has seen floods and droughts, storms and calms, and through it all, it has continued its patient journey. There is something deeply comforting about this persistence, this reliability. The river will flow tonight as you sleep. It will flow tomorrow and the day after, and for countless days to come. Some things in this world are constant, dependable, trustworthy. The river is one of them. Let the sound of the water carry your thoughts downstream. Let your worries float away on the current, drifting out of sight around the next bend. The river will take them, absorb them, transform them into something harmless, something that dissolves into the vast waters of the world. You are safe here on the riverbank. The water sings its ancient lullaby, the same song it has sung since the beginning of time. Let it sing you toward sleep, toward dreams, toward the deep rest that awaits you. Part 6. Gardens in the Sky. High above the forest floor, in the upper reaches of the canopy, where sunlight is abundant and rain falls directly from the sky, we find one of the rainforest's most remarkable features, the aerial gardens that grow on the branches of the great trees. These are the epiphytes, plants that live their entire lives without ever touching the ground. They make their homes on the branches and trunks of trees, drawing moisture from the humid air and nutrients from the debris that accumulates around their roots. They are gardens in the sky, suspended between earth and heaven. Let us climb gently upward, rising through the layers of the forest until we reach these elevated gardens. The air here is different, warmer, brighter, filled with the scent of flowers and the hum of pollinating insects. We have entered a world that most ground-dwelling creatures never see. The most spectacular of these aerial gardens are created by bromeliads, plants with rosettes of stiff leaves that form natural cups capable of holding water. These tiny pools, suspended high in the canopy, become miniature ecosystems unto themselves, home to creatures that spend their entire lives in these elevated waters. Peer into one of these bromeliad pools, and you will find a world in miniature. Mosquito larvae wriggle in the water, destined to become the flying insects that will feed countless birds and bats. Tiny crabs, no larger than your thumbnail, scuttle along the leaf edges. Tadpoles of poison dart frogs develop in these protected waters, safe from the fish and larger predators that would threaten them in the streams below. The bromeliad asks nothing from the tree that supports it. It does not steal nutrients or water from its host. It simply lives alongside it, creating habitat for countless other creatures, adding beauty and complexity to the forest canopy. This is cooperation without effort, community without demand, a gentle way of existing together that benefits all. Among the bromeliads, we find orchids, perhaps the most celebrated of all rainforest flowers. There are thousands of species here, each one more intricate and beautiful than the last. Some are tiny, their flowers no larger than a grain of rice. Others produce blooms the size of dinner plates, their petals painted in colours that seem almost impossible in nature. Orchids are patient plants. Some species wait years between flowerings, storing energy slowly, preparing for the moment when conditions are exactly right. Then, when that moment comes, they burst into bloom with an extravagance that seems almost wasteful after such long preparation. But there is no waste in the orchid's strategy. Each flower is perfectly designed to attract its specific pollinator, a particular species of bee or moth or hummingbird that has evolved alongside the orchid over millions of years. The flower and its pollinator are partners in an ancient dance, each dependent on the other, each perfectly suited to the other's needs. There is something deeply romantic about this relationship, this faithful partnership that has endured across geological ages. The orchid waits for its pollinator. The pollinator seeks out its orchid. They find each other again and again, generation after generation, in a love story written in pollen and nectar. Hanging from the branches like green curtains, we find the tillandsias, air plants that seem to defy the very concept of what a plant should be. They have no need for soil, no need for the earth at all. They draw everything they need from the air itself, their silvery leaves absorbing moisture and nutrients from the humid atmosphere. The tillandsias remind us that there are many ways to live, many ways to find what we need. We do not all have to be rooted in the same soil, following the same path. Some of us are meant to float, to drift, to find our sustenance in unexpected places. Among these aerial gardens, we find creatures as remarkable as the plants themselves. Here is the emerald tree boa, its brilliant green scales providing perfect camouflage among the leaves. It drapes itself over branches like a living vine, waiting with infinite patience for prey to pass within striking distance. Despite its predatory nature, there is something peaceful about the emerald tree boa. It does not hunt actively, does not chase or pursue. It simply waits, trusting that the forest will provide, that eventually something edible will come close enough. This is patience elevated to an art form, stillness as a survival strategy. Watch how the boa breathes, its body expanding and contracting almost imperceptibly. Its forked tongue flickers out occasionally, tasting the air for information, but otherwise it remains motionless. Hours pass, and still it waits. There is no frustration in its waiting, no impatience. The boa understands something that we often forget, that good things come to those who wait, that stillness can be as powerful as action. Nearby, a group of spider monkeys moves through the canopy with acrobatic grace. Their long limbs and prehensile tails make them perfectly suited for life in the treetops, where they swing from branch to branch with effortless confidence. But even these energetic creatures need rest. Watch as they settle into a comfortable tree fork, their limbs intertwined in a warm pile of fur and friendship. Spider monkeys are deeply social animals, and they find comfort in physical contact with their family members. They groom each other gently, picking through fur with careful fingers, strengthening bonds through this simple act of care. There is something touching about this mutual grooming, this willingness to care for one another. The monkeys do not groom themselves alone when they could groom together. They understand that connection, that touch, that caring for others is as important as caring for oneself. In a hollow in a nearby tree, we find a family of kinkajous settling in for their daytime sleep. These golden-furred creatures, sometimes called honey bears for their love of sweet nectar, are nocturnal, active at night and sleeping through the day. They have found a cozy den in the tree's interior, lined with soft debris and warmed by their collective body heat. The kinkajous curl together, their long tails wrapped around each other, their breathing synchronized in the rhythm of shared sleep. They will remain here until darkness falls, dreaming whatever dreams kinkajous dream, resting and restoring themselves for the night's activities. What do kinkajous dream of? Perhaps they dream of flowers heavy with nectar, of fruits ripe and sweet, of moonlit branches and starry skies. Perhaps their dreams are filled with the scents and sounds of the nighttime forest, the world they know best, the world where they truly come alive. As we rest here among the aerial gardens, we become aware of the countless small dramas unfolding around us. A butterfly emerges from its chrysalis, its wings still wet and crumpled, slowly expanding in the warm air. A column of ants marches along a branch, carrying fragments of leaves back to their underground gardens. A hummingbird hovers at an orchid, its wings beating so fast they blur into invisibility, its long beak probing for nectar. Each of these small events is a miracle, a story of survival and persistence, of life finding a way in this vertical world. The aerial gardens are not just collections of plants. They are communities, ecosystems, worlds unto themselves, suspended between the earth and the sky. And here, in these gardens in the sky, we find a different kind of peace. It is the peace of elevation, of perspective, of seeing the world from a new angle. From up here, the concerns of the forest floor seem distant, almost abstract. We are above it all, floating in a world of green and gold, surrounded by beauty and life. Let this elevated peace settle into you. Let it lift you above your worries, above your concerns, above the weight of the day. You are floating now, supported by the gentle branches of the canopy, cradled by the aerial gardens that have grown here over countless years. The plants around you breathe out oxygen, pure and fresh, filling the air with the essence of life itself. Breathe it in. Let it fill your lungs, your blood, your cells. This is the breath of the rainforest, the gift of the green world, offered freely to all who receive it. Part 7. The night unfolds. As the last light fades from the sky, the rainforest undergoes its daily transformation. The creatures of the day retreat to their sleeping places, while a new cast of characters emerges to claim the darkness. This is the night shift of the forest, and it is every bit as rich and fascinating as the day. Let us remain here, safe and comfortable, as the night unfolds around us. There is nothing to fear in this darkness, only wonders to discover, only gentle mysteries to explore. The first stars appear in the gaps between the leaves, tiny points of light in the deepening blue. The forest canopy frames them like a natural window, offering glimpses of the vast universe beyond. These same stars have shone down on the rainforest for billions of years, watching over countless generations of creatures, witnessing the slow dance of evolution and change. As darkness settles in, the sounds of the forest shift. The daytime chorus of birds fades, replaced by the chirping of crickets, the croaking of frogs, and the occasional hoot of an owl. These night sounds are softer, more intimate, as if the forest is speaking in whispers now that the sun has gone to sleep. From somewhere in the darkness comes the haunting call of the potu, a nocturnal bird whose voice sounds like a mournful whistle, rising and falling in the night air. The potu is a master of camouflage, spending its days motionless on a branch, looking exactly like a broken stub of wood. Only at night does it reveal its true nature, opening its enormous eyes and taking to the air to hunt insects. The potu's call has inspired countless legends among the people who live in and near the rainforest. Some say it is the voice of a lost soul, searching for something it can never find. Others believe it brings messages from the spirit world. Whatever its meaning, the sound is undeniably beautiful, a night song that has echoed through these forests since long before humans first heard it. In the understory, the night-blooming flowers begin to open. These are the flowers that have chosen the darkness, that save their beauty for the nocturnal pollinators, moths and bats that will visit them in the moonlight. Their petals unfurl slowly, releasing fragrances that are often stronger and sweeter than their daytime counterparts. One such flower is the moonflower, its large white blooms glowing softly in the darkness like fallen moons. The moonflower opens only at night, offering its nectar to the hawk moths that hover before it like tiny helicopters. By morning, the flowers will have closed again, their brief moment of glory complete. There is something magical about these night-blooming flowers, something secretive and special. They remind us that beauty does not always need an audience, that some of the most wonderful things happen when no one is watching. The moonflower does not bloom for praise or admiration. It blooms because that is its nature, because the night is its time, because this is what it was made to do. Moving silently through the darkness, we might catch a glimpse of the ocelot, a small wild cat whose spotted coat provides perfect camouflage in the dappled moonlight. The ocelot is a patient hunter, moving through the forest with deliberate stealth, every sense alert to the presence of prey. But even predators need rest. Watch as this ocelot finds a comfortable spot in the crook of a tree, curling its tail around its body and settling in for a brief nap. Its ears remain alert, twitching at every sound, but its body relaxes, its breathing slows. Even the hunter must sometimes stop hunting, must sometimes simply be. The ocelot's spotted coat rises and falls with each breath, a pattern of light and shadow that seems to shift and move in the darkness. It is beautiful even in stillness, even in sleep, a reminder that rest can be graceful, that letting go of effort does not mean letting go of dignity. Nearby, a family of night monkeys, the only truly nocturnal monkeys in the world, is just beginning to stir. Their enormous eyes, adapted for seeing in low light, gleam in the darkness as they peer out from their sleeping hole. One by one, they emerge, stretching and yawning, preparing for a night of foraging. Night monkeys live their lives in reverse from most of their primate relatives. While other monkeys play and feed in the sunlight, night monkeys sleep. While others sleep through the darkness, night monkeys are wide awake, moving through the forest with confidence, despite the lack of light. There is something comforting about the night monkey's way of life. They remind us that there are many ways to organize a day, many rhythms that can sustain a life. If you are someone who feels more alive at night, who finds peace in the darkness, you are not alone. The night monkeys understand. As the night deepens, the temperature drops slightly, and the forest becomes even more still. The air is thick with moisture, and tiny droplets of water begin to form on leaves and branches, the forest's own form of dew collected from the humid atmosphere. In this moisture, we find the glass frogs, tiny, translucent amphibians whose bodies are so clear you can see their internal organs. They cling to the undersides of leaves, their hearts visible through their transparent skin, beating with a rhythm as old as life itself. The glass frog's transparency is a form of camouflage, making it nearly invisible against the green leaves where it lives. But it is also a kind of honesty, a willingness to be seen completely to hide nothing. The glass frog has no secrets, no hidden depths. What you see is what there is, a small, perfect creature living its small, perfect life. Perhaps there is freedom in such transparency, in having nothing to hide, nothing to protect. Perhaps the glass frog, in its openness, has found a kind of peace that more guarded creatures never know. On the forest floor, the leaf litter comes alive with movement. This is the realm of the nocturnal insects, beetles and cockroaches, centipedes and millipedes, all going about their nightly business of feeding and breeding and surviving. They are the clean-up crew of the forest, breaking down dead matter and returning nutrients to the soil. Among them moves the tailless whip scorpion, a creature that looks fearsome but is completely harmless to humans. Its long, whip-like front legs sweep the ground before it, sensing the environment through touch rather than sight. Despite its alarming appearance, it is a gentle creature, more interested in avoiding confrontation than in causing harm. The tailless whip scorpion reminds us not to judge by appearances, not to let fear of the unfamiliar prevent us from seeing the truth of things. Many of the creatures we fear are actually harmless, even beneficial. Many of the things that frighten us in the darkness are simply unfamiliar, waiting to be understood. High in the canopy, a fruit bat takes flight, its leathery wings carrying it silently through the night air. Fruit bats are essential to the rainforest, dispersing seeds and pollinating flowers as they feed. Without them, many tree species would struggle to reproduce, and the forest would be a poorer place. The bat's flight is a marvel of natural engineering. Its wings, made of thin membrane stretched between elongated fingers, can adjust their shape with incredible precision, allowing for maneuvers that would be impossible for birds. It navigates through the darkness using a combination of excellent night vision and echolocation, building a detailed picture of its environment through sound. Watch as the bat finds a tree heavy with ripe figs. It hovers briefly, selecting the perfect fruit, then plucks it with its feet and flies to a nearby branch to eat. Seeds from the fruit will pass through the bat's digestive system and be deposited elsewhere in the forest, potentially giving rise to a new tree. In this way, the bat is not just a consumer, but a creator, a planter of forests, a partner in the great work of keeping the rainforest alive. As the night reaches its deepest point, a profound stillness settles over the forest. Even the insects seem to quiet. Even the frogs pause in their calling. This is the hour of deepest rest, when the world seems to hold its breath, when time itself seems to slow. In this stillness, we can hear something remarkable, the sound of the forest growing. It is not a sound that can be heard with the ears exactly, but rather felt with the whole body. It is the sound of water moving through countless stems and trunks, of cells dividing and multiplying, of life continuing its endless work of building and becoming. The rainforest never truly sleeps. Even in the deepest night, even in the most profound stillness, it is growing, changing, evolving. But this growth is gentle, patient, unhurried. The trees do not strain to grow faster. They simply grow at their own pace, trusting in the process, knowing that in time they will reach whatever height they are meant to reach. This is the wisdom of the rainforest night, the understanding that growth happens in its own time, that rest is not the opposite of progress, but an essential part of it. The forest grows while it rests. We too can grow while we rest. Sleep is not wasted time, but invested time, a period when our bodies and minds do their essential work of repair and renewal. Let the stillness of the rainforest night wrap around you like a soft blanket. Let the sounds of the nocturnal creatures become a lullaby, a gentle reminder that you are not alone in the darkness. The night is full of life, full of beauty, full of creatures going about their peaceful business while you drift towards sleep. You are safe here in the rainforest night. The darkness is not empty, but full of wonder, full of mystery, full of the quiet magic of life continuing its endless dance. Let yourself become part of that dance, that rhythm, that ancient pattern of rest and renewal. The night will hold you gently until the dawn returns. The forest will keep watch while you sleep. And when you wake, refreshed and restored, the rainforest will still be here, growing, breathing, living, as it has for millions of years, as it will for millions more. Part 8. Dawn's first light. The darkness begins to soften almost imperceptibly at first. The black of night gives way to deep blue, then to purple, then to the first hints of gold on the eastern horizon. The rainforest is waking up, and we wake with it, gently, gradually, like a flower opening to the morning light. This is the dawn chorus, one of the most magnificent natural performances on Earth. As the light grows, birds begin to sing, first one, then another, then dozens, then hundreds, until the entire forest rings with music. Each species has its own song, its own contribution to the symphony, and together they create a sound that is both overwhelming and deeply beautiful. The first singers are often the tinamous, ground-dwelling birds whose haunting whistles seem to call the sun up from below the horizon. Their songs are simple but pure, single notes that hang in the air like drops of liquid sound. The tinamous have been singing this same song for millions of years, greeting each new day with the same ancient melody. Soon, the antbirds join in, their calls sharp and insistent, cutting through the softer sounds like percussion in an orchestra. Then come the wrens, the tanagers, the flycatchers, each adding their voice to the growing chorus. The sound builds and builds until it seems impossible that so much music could come from a single forest. But there is no competition in the dawn chorus, no attempt by one bird to drown out another. Each singer has its own frequency, its own rhythm, its own moment in the song. They have evolved together over millions of years, learning to share the acoustic space just as they share the physical space of the forest. This is cooperation through song, harmony achieved not through planning, but through the slow work of evolution. Each bird sings its truth, and somehow, miraculously, all those truths fit together into something greater than any single voice could produce. As the light continues to grow, we can see the forest coming to life around us. Leaves that appeared black in the darkness reveal themselves to be 1,000 shades of green. Flowers that were invisible now glow with colour, red and orange and yellow and blue, a palette that seems almost too vivid to be real. The early morning light has a special quality in the rainforest. It is soft and golden, filtered through layers of leaves and mist, touching everything with a gentle glow. This is the light that photographers dream of, the light that painters try to capture, the light that makes the ordinary seem magical. In this light, a hummingbird hovers at a heliconia flower, its iridescent feathers catching the sun and throwing off sparks of green and blue and purple. The hummingbird's wings beat so fast they are invisible, creating a soft, humming sound that gives the bird its name. It drinks deeply from the flower, fueling itself for the day's activities, then darts away to find another blossom. The hummingbird's metabolism is the fastest of any bird, requiring it to feed almost constantly during its waking hours. Yet despite this urgent need, there is grace in its movements, beauty in its ceaseless activity. The hummingbird does not seem stressed or hurried. It simply does what it must do, moment by moment, flower by flower, living fully in each instant. On a branch nearby, a toucan stretches its enormous bill toward the rising sun, as if drinking in the light. The toucan's bill, which seems almost comically large for its body, is actually a marvel of natural engineering, strong enough to crack hard nuts, yet light enough not to unbalance the bird. Its bright colours serve as signals to other toucans, helping them find each other in the dense forest. The toucan yawns, revealing the inside of its bill, then begins to preen its feathers with careful attention. Morning grooming is an important ritual for many birds, a way of maintaining the feathers that are essential for flight and temperature regulation. The toucan works methodically, running each feather through its bill, smoothing and aligning, preparing itself for whatever the day may bring. As the sun rises higher, the temperature begins to climb, and the forest floor starts to steam gently as the night's moisture evaporates. This mist rises through the trees like smoke, softening the light and creating an atmosphere that seems almost dreamlike. We are witnessing the forest's morning breath, the exhalation of millions of plants releasing water into the air. Through this mist, we catch a glimpse of a group of howler monkeys beginning their morning routine. They have spent the night sleeping in the high branches, huddled together for warmth and safety. Now they stretch and yawn, scratching themselves and greeting each other with soft grunts and touches. Soon, the dominant male will begin his morning call, a sound so loud and deep that it can be heard for miles through the forest. This call announces the group's presence to other howler troops, establishing territory without the need for physical confrontation. It is communication at its most primal, a declaration of existence that echoes through the trees. But for now, in these quiet moments before the calling begins, the howlers are peaceful, almost tender. They groom each other gently, mothers nursing their infants, youngsters playing carefully on nearby branches. This is family life in the canopy, simple and sweet, not so different from family mornings anywhere in the world. Down on the forest floor, a peccary family emerges from the dense undergrowth where they spent the night. These pig-like creatures travel in groups, their sharp hooves clicking softly on the roots and rocks as they search for food. They communicate through a variety of sounds, grunts, squeals, and the chattering of teeth, keeping the group together as they move through the forest. The peccaries are not particularly beautiful animals, but there is something endearing about their earnest searching, their social bonds, their obvious enjoyment of each other's company. They remind us that family and community matter, that we are not meant to face the world alone. As the morning progresses, the forest settles into its daytime rhythm. The dawn chorus fades to a more moderate level of activity. Creatures that were frantically active in the first light slow down, conserving energy for the heat of midday. The forest breathes, a great green lung inhaling and exhaling in the rhythm of the day. We have travelled far through this rainforest, from the canopy to the floor, from day to night and back again. We have met creatures large and small, common and rare, beautiful and strange. We have listened to the forest's many voices, felt its many textures, breathed its rich and fragrant air, and through it all, the forest has offered us its greatest gift, the gift of peace. Not the peace of emptiness or silence, but the peace of fullness of life lived in harmony with itself. The rainforest is a place where everything belongs, where every creature has its role, where the great web of existence is woven so tightly that nothing can be removed without affecting the whole. This is the peace we carry with us as we prepare to leave this place, the knowledge that we too belong to something greater than ourselves. We are part of the web of life, connected to every other living thing on this planet. The air we breathe was exhaled by the trees of the rainforest. The water we drink has passed through countless plants and animals before reaching us. We are not separate from nature, but part of it, woven into its fabric, sustained by its generosity. Let this knowledge comfort you as you drift towards sleep. You are not alone. You are part of something vast and beautiful and enduring. The rainforest breathes for you, grows for you, sings for you. And somewhere in the green heart of the world, a sloth is closing its eyes. A frog is settling into its bromeliad pool. A butterfly is folding its wings for the night. We are all part of the same great story, the same ancient dance of life and rest, of waking and sleeping, of day and night. Let yourself become part of that dance now. Let the rhythm of the rainforest carry you gently into dreams. The forest will be here when you wake. The trees will still be growing, the birds still singing, the rivers still flowing to the sea. Nothing you need to do, nothing you need to worry about, nothing you need to hold on to. Just rest now, just breathe, just let go. The rainforest whispers its lullaby, a song of leaves and water and wind. It has sung this song for millions of years, and it will sing it for millions more. Tonight, it sings for you. Sleep well, gentle traveler. The rainforest holds you in its green embrace, and all is well, all is peaceful, all is exactly as it should be. The sounds of the rainforest continue softly. The distant call of a bird, the gentle rustle of leaves, the eternal murmur of flowing water as you drift deeper and deeper into peaceful, restorative sleep. End of script. Deep Sleep Studios. Whispers of the Rainforest. Runtime, approximately 90 minutes. For peaceful sleep and relaxation.